Rob, regular keen viewers of the podcast might say, do you people ever learn a lesson, even your own?
I mean, it would not be that difficult, Doug, for you to airdrop the theme of the show from your computer in the basement to, the device you take with you when you're on Good Force One.
I have it. I have it on my phone. I got a fresh copy from producer Dan last night, but I didn't yet load it into the screen, so I had to play it off my phone and move it around. Yeah. But also, we're running a countdown because we want people, as you said, last week. You had a good thought. We want people to have a chance, to have 15, 20 extra seconds to catch into the podcast. Hey, Rob, you look great. You're really spiffed up. I mean, it's a sharp look for people just listening on the podcast. They ought to just tap into the YouTube stream for a moment and see the like patterned pattern dotted dark shirt, green tie. Man, I feel like a guy that might be podcasting, live streaming in the very shirt he slept in.
This is like
if I'm not careful.
Fit check. Doug, listen. The single most frustrating piece of equipment in a home has got to be the printer.
Oh.
Right?
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, 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 Lord.
I mean, why? This is the year 2025, the year of our Lord. Why have we not figured out printers yet? I want to get something from one of my electronic devices, which are plentiful, and I would like that printed on some paper.
Some paper.
I mean, I feel like, can we bring back Gutenberg? Can somebody get dig up the remains of Gutenberg, who invented the printing press? Allegedly, who knows these days? We'll probably see a documentary on how he didn't actually do it.
He stole it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Can we get Gutenberg back and put him to work on printers? So listen, over the last several weeks, we do a lot of printing here in our house.
Yes,
we do a lot of printing because my wife runs a little Etsy business, and by little I mean growing by leaps and bounds. And in the last 30 days, we have shipped over 200 orders.
My goodness.
And by we, I mean me, because I, do the shipping.
Okay.
And this is not like, this is, stuff she buys at thrift stores, stuff she buys at estate sales. Okay. This is not like, uniform. All I need is one.
I see. Everything's being packaged differently. Mm-hmm.
It's bespoke. Every package is bespoke. And so, always beg, borrow, and steal from people who, have boxes and packing supplies. And thankfully, we've got some friends that work in places but we depend on the printer because we print off the labels. For a while now, our printer has been telling us that, something or other is saturated. I don't know. And then yesterday, it just decided, nope, I'm done. You hit your print count. It's like a pitcher with a pitch count. Like you have. This is the number of prints I will do, and now I'm done.
I'm sitting down now. I'm going to rest. Hey, okay, a couple things. One, mutual friend Colby Martin.
Yeah.
Sent. I put something on the internet about the fact that using a printer at home is both simultaneously singularly frustrating.
Yeah.
And one of the great joys of your life when you hit print and you listen and you hear it printing, you think, oh my gosh, it happened. And you don't want anything to change, right? You're just like, what could have happened?
Don't let it be the thing where it prints the first third of the page and then it conks out in the middle. And then you're like, in this cycle of rebooting it and oh my goodness.
So Colby sent me a note, and we followed his advice, and he said, I am so sorry. Okay, he said,
Okay.
I saw your post about printers. There is, all caps, one answer to this, and I will stand for no other, he wrote.
Okay.
Epson EcoTank printer.
Okay.
The one that
So
Shaquille
this
O'Neal
is-
does. Okay, let me finish. I swear to my Lord, the ink never runs out, and the machine is fantastic. Costco has one. If there's one near you, get it. Never look back and never replace ink again. That was February 18th. We have 3/4 of our printing of our ink left. It has been nearly flawless. Please, Rob, do what you can. And they're not even that expensive. They are the singular answer. So everyone in the country,
This is great.
please.
This is great. We have, yes, the whole ink thing is a whole, you got the subscription and like you feel like you have signed away one of your children in exchange for ink. And then, and because we do a lot of shipping, obviously.
Yep.
Most
Oh,
of
yeah.
our printing is shipping. I really like having the 2 trays.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, because you don't want to put the labels in separately from the regular paper. You don't want to hit print on the label, have it print on the regular paper the other way around. Boy, we've
I
all
can
been
tell
through
you how many times we have
How many
printed
times have we all?
something like a sermon gets printed on labels. Oh, it happens all the time. Yeah. But we have heard that the tank printers are the way to go, and this is, and I spent yesterday. I went to Walmart. I went to Best Buy. I went to Office Depot. I was on the Amazon. I was looking at the SamsClub.com.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you. I was just lost in a sea of printer options.
Yes.
And then I'm like, I'm spending an entire day on a device that's going to do nothing but frustrate the hell out of me.
Forever. Yeah.
But
Until
I'm
you
going
get
with
the Epson
EcoTank.
EcoTank.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm
hey,
buying
quick-
one this morning. When this podcast ends, I will go purchase a printer. That was the
At
plan
Costco.
for the day, because we
Great.
have to have a printer. I don't go to Costco because I live here in Sam's country. Go to Sam's Club.
Okay. I don't know if they'll have one. I don't know anything about that place.
I
Hey,
have seen that.
1969. Gary Starkweather, an engineer at Xerox, modified the photocopier to print images using a laser beam, the creator of the laser printer. Since 1969. Rob, can I ask what year were you born?
1975.
In 1977, Xerox released the Xerox 9700, the first commercial laser printer. In 1984, the year of our Lord and the year of your Savior, Ronald Reagan, HP LaserJet brought the laser printing into offices and homes. I'm an old man. I graduated from high school in 1984. We have had one available to us all of our adult lives. For many people watching this, their entire lives, and yet they work 30% of the time.
Planned obsolescence. Oh my goodness. So
And you buy the new one. Okay, I'll tell you what I will not do. I mean, there was one point where I yelled at my television set when Carly Fiorina was running for the Republican nomination, and my
CEO of HP
inkjet printer wouldn't work, and I yelled at my television, if you can't make a printer that works, how can you save the country? Oh, I am with you, buddy. I am with you. Just, hey, you know what's even worse than the a printer not working? This headline from AP News: the Trump administration says that White House ballroom construction is a matter of national security. Rob, as it turns out,
What?
they tore down the West Wing.
Yeah, the East Wing.
The East Wing, thank you. Do you know what the East Wing sat over on top of? A secure bunker. Secure bunker. And now the Secret Service are like, yeah, we have to have our entire protocol for the safety of that was a building. How, Rob, in God's name, was he allowed to call in deconstruction cranes and bulldozers and wrecking balls to tear that building down? Now, this has all come up because he's being...
Just pause for a second. This is not just any building. This is the White House.
The East Wing of the White House.
It is mind-boggling.
Absolutely mind-boggling. Like, and the people engaged in this, the reason this has come up is because there's a lawsuit filing by the National Trust for Historic Preservation saying that a federal judge needs to put an injunction in place, and there needs to be a whole process by which the rules of tearing down and rebuilding buildings of historic significance go through. So not only is it tragic and wasteful and stupid, he actually has made the country less safe. If you believe that the safety of government officials doing government work inside of secure bunkers in and under the White House is a national security issue. The man is literally a threat to the earth and everyone who lives on it.
We have this thing called the National Historic Register, where historic buildings can get designated as such. And when that's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it's great. And apparently, am I blurry? I don't look blurry to me. Do I look blurry to you?
It was earlier.
Okay.
You look blurry to everyone but you because the stream is going through my computer and you got funky for a minute there.
Jim is suggesting that my electronics are all working together and my camera is revolting because I was dissing my printer, which is very likely. And let me just say, Siri, ChatGPT, Alexa, anybody else, any other AI who might be listening, hey, I love you all. Thank you for the good work you do.
I need you.
You just gotta stay on the good side of of our AI overlords. The National Historic Register.
Excuse me a second, Rob. Your camera started shouting, "We are all printers today. We are all printers today." Don't let him attack the printers.
So the National Historic Register, when a home gets added to the National Historic Register,
right,
you can't just change stuff in it.
No.
They're like, if you're going to renovate, if you're going to improve something, you got to go through a process because we want to preserve these historic buildings. And you get a plaque. Doug, did you think we needed a National Historic Register plaque on the White House?
Hey, don't tear down the East Wing without
a given that, like, hey, we're not gonna knock down part of the White House.
It's just it is truly okay. I know this seems like a long time ago, but it's ongoing. It's not Trump's White House. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I know they never put rules in place about who gets to decide. The man is a renter. And there's not a renter in the world who gets to decide to just tear down and then round up money from your buddies to remodel the house or the apartment or the condo that you're living in or the rented RV that you might stay in at this wonderful RV park here in South Florida in the Southern Office of the Resistance of Common Goodery. It's so insane that somehow overnight, vehicles showed up and the hundreds of people who knew, and they just let it all happen. And now, of course, like everything Trump does, a bunch of other people, wasteful amounts of dollars, human energy is spent on correcting the problems the man has created. It is... Hey, Rob, this week I went down...
There's good news. I don't know if you saw the good news, the happy news. Good news.
No, I have no happy news.
Donald J. Trump Jr. has gotten engaged.
Oh, well, boy. Wow. Even the loveless can be loved. That is the story of God. So blessings to him. First marriage for Don Jr., or is he keeping up with the old man?
He was married and divorced his wife to date and get engaged to former Mrs. Gavin Newsom, Kimberly Guilfoyle, and they broke up. They shipped her off to be like the ambassador to Denmark or something.
Oh.
Or Italy or Greece or somewhere. She is the ambassador to some European country.
Bought her silence, you're saying.
Yeah. Yep. And now he's engaged again. So he seems a little bit like his less. Doug, you remember when you used to make a copy of a cassette tape?
Oh, I did it this last week for Christmas. I made cassette tapes of my own music for my children. I gave one of them.
And then you make a copy of the copy.
Oh yeah, I was making copy. I had a machine with two copy, dual cassette recorder.
Yes, the quality drops a little bit when you make a copy of the copy. And so Donald J. Trump Sr. Married 3 times. The copy, Donald J. Trump Jr. engaged 3 times.
Oh, see, I just couldn't quite land the plane.
just a little bit.
Well,
just down a little bit quality downgrade.
What do you think that prenuptial agreement looks like going into that? I would imagine from his fiance's side, where she's like, "Look, I'm not getting caught up in whatever criminality you all are into.
Right.
I am
The family
hereby
money
not
that
responsible.
I have is staying with me. I'm not bailing you out of anything.
Not bailing you out.
I'm not gonna get you out of your crypto problems and all that."
Yeah.
Look, Doug, my mug even matches my outfit today. Look,
Wow, it's just stunning.
It's
It's
fantastic.
just really on the money. Did you pick that up over at Marshall's or TJ Maxx or something? Looks like one of those sets you might buy.
This mug? No, it got
No,
this
no,
mug.
the outfit.
No. Here we're gonna do a little.
Did it come in a box? Did it come in a box set?
No.
It's just on the money.
Shirt is
Okay.
Banana Republic.
Ooh.
Tie thrifted at the thrift store.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Banana
Yeah.
Republic, my favorite store, the factory outlet.
Oh,
Banana
great.
Republic.
Oh, yeah.
Von
Seconds
Neer
and
factory
non-selling
outlet.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the stuff that regular people wouldn't want to buy. And then the tie thrifted by my wife at Potter's house in Fayetteville.
Excellent. Well done. So if somebody wants to buy that tie, it'll be available on the Etsy shop, on Vanessa's Etsy shop.
And then
if
I
they
got to
want
ship
buy
it out and print the label. Doug, I know you have other stuff you want to get to, and we'll talk about it. But did you hear that a new weapon of mass destruction just dropped?
This sounds like a college poop joke, but no, go on.
Yesterday, Donald Trump, our president,
Yeah.
signed an executive order. Have you heard this?
No.
Do you know this?
No. Just hearing you say it
That,
so cleanly, Trump the president, our president, every once in a while takes my breath away.
Just catches in your throat sometimes. I know. Yeah, there are times where I just sit back and go, "Wow, he is president."
Again.
I used to say, "Wow, he is president." Now I say, "Wow, he is president again." Yesterday, Donald J. Trump, our president, signed an executive order identifying, labeling, classifying a new weapon of mass destruction. Doug, would you like to guess what is now on the list of weapon of mass? I mean, could we name some weapons of mass destruction? There's the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know, chemical
Chemical bombs,
biological
I would think.
weapons. Yeah.
What else would be of mass destruction? I don't know, just maybe a certain missile sets. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's been categorized by
take a guess. Take a guess.
Something to do with protesters.
Oh no, good guess. Fentanyl. Fentanyl is now a weapon of mass destruction, Doug. Fentanyl.
Well, all right. So maybe what he'll do is launch tariffs to stop them. Oh no, that didn't work. Maybe he'll shut down the border to stop them. Oh, maybe he'll start firing at small boats in the Mediterranean Sea to stop it. But he'll probably get
Caribbean,
busy.
not the Mediterranean,
Thank
but
you.
yeah.
The Caribbean.
Yeah.
He'll probably start working on supply demand. He'll probably start working on a massive investment in response, healthcare, and mental health response to stop the desire for addictive fentanyl in the United States. I would imagine that his desire to stop it will have no bounds, and he will move to work on the supply side and not act as if fentanyl is anthrax that people are bringing into the country and unleashing on people, but rather it's being purchased and self-consumed. Administered. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, real quick,
we
do you think that means then that anybody who's in possession of
is
fentanyl
a terrorist.
is in possession of a weapon of mass destruction?
Yeah. And would fentanyl now be protected by the Second Amendment?
Because it's a weapon? Because it's...
Fentanyl is...
The right to bear arms means something totally different now.
That's right. Fentanyl's a synthetic opioid. It's like methadone. Like it is manufactured narcotic that is used to as an anesthetic in hospitals and by doctors. And it apparently we have hundreds of thousands of people in the United States that have become addicted to fentanyl. Donald Trump yesterday said that fentanyl kills, I can't remember if he said 100,000 to 200,000 that we know of, or if he said 200,000 to 300,000 that we know of.
Big number.
I looked up how many fentanyl deaths we have in the United States. It's the number actually decreased from 2022 to 2023, 72,776. So 73,000 people, which is terrible.
Terrible.
You don't want 73,000 people dying from
No.
From a synthetic opioid like fentanyl. Boy, how does that compare? Like, how does that compare to the number of deaths caused by other things? Like, are cars now weapons of mass destruction? If we take this, take this line of thinking,
Yep.
do we begin to just label anything we want a weapon of mass destruction? Like, what's the threshold? How many people does something have to kill to be a weapon of mass destruction? And if we classify something down on the list a weapon of mass destruction, what does that mean for all the stuff above it on the list?
Do you have a list of numbers of other of the number of death causes? Is that where you're going with this, or are you just wondering, sort of in the hypothetical sense, what do we do?
Well, I have been Googling this
about this. Look, Trump is up to this for some reason, right? He is clearly wanting to use...
We know why it is.
Okay.
We once invaded a country,
yes,
because they had weapons of mass destruction.
Yes.
That was a phrase that was used as a pretext that people are like, oh, they have weapons of mass destruction, we can't let them have that.
Yep.
And Trump wants to invade Venezuela to get their oil, and is going to use, they have been inflicting a weapon of mass destruction on the United States by shipping fentanyl here.
Yeah. And where this connects to another thing I wanted to talk about today is that so many conservatives are not going with Trump on this, which is why he's ratcheting it up, because the pushback he is getting to these extrajudicial military strikes on these boats, declaring Venezuelans to be terrorists. People are like, okay, this is just not how this is supposed to go and not how it's supposed to work. And this collapsing coalition.
We have this new word, narco-terrorist.
Yes, the pushback amongst normal Republicans, MAGA Republicans on this, along with a whole lot of other things that Trump wants them to do, is starting to increase so intensely. Like, Rob, just this week, the state senators in Indiana
said, nah.
were highly pressured. And I watched an interview with one of the senators from there, and he said, look, I was opposed to this all along. I considered going along with it. And then Trump came out and used the R word. And he said, I have a daughter with developmental disabilities. We don't let anyone speak that way, let alone a leader. And he's like, the lack of kindness. And this man, like, we're not doing his bidding anymore. And I don't care what happens. These people stared him straight down. And he even said in the interview, you can see it on I think Katie Tur did the interview. If people are interested in watching it on YouTube, you can look it up with Katie Tur. He said, look, I've only talked to the president once, and it was on a speakerphone. And he said, I'll tell you, as a state senator in Indiana, to be on the phone with the president of the United States addressing a small group of you, it is intimidating and overwhelming. And I totally get it. And we're not going along with him.
Yeah.
Like that. And he said, we're just regular Republicans right now. Now, what a lot of people are suspecting is what's happening in Indiana is that Donald Trump doesn't have the greatest networked relationship in Indiana. But do you know who does with Republicans?
Mike Pence.
Mike Pence. And Mike Pence, Dan Quayle, and others start getting busy and saying, politically speaking, Trump is dead man walking here. His days are numbered. He's on his way out. Do you know who's not? All of you. Hang in there. And there is a future for us beyond Donald Trump. And this movement, I know we've been saying it here and people push back all the time. No, it's not going to happen. It is. The quiet quitting is turning louder. I've seen multiple news stories now about how the MAGA Christianity is starting to collapse. Something we've been naming MAGA Christianity. Thank you, Vote Common Good, for that. Naming it now is being picked up in the media and being talked about. How insiders in this administration and his sycophants.
Yes.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, top of the list, but a whole bunch of others. And they see this Venezuelan nonsense happening. They see this stuff with fentanyl. They see him being so cruel in the midst of tragedy. Saying about the Butler shootings this week. The three words.
Brown University.
Thank you, Brown University. The three words that you never say as a president. Things happen. That is Donald Trump's way of saying, who cares? He said it about COVID. It is what it is. He's saying it now about this Brown University shooting. Things happen. And then a tragic murder of a beloved person in the United States. Even if people disagreed with Rob Reiner politically, even if they don't hold to Rob Reiner's view of the assassination of JFK, even if they're big fans of Rob Reiner's produced film, God and Country, people beloved the guy. He's murdered in a tragedy along with his wife by his own son, one of the great tragedies that anyone could imagine. And Donald Trump comes out unprompted and makes it about himself and says that he caused it, Rob Reiner caused it to happen. Did you read that? Did you see that Truth Social post that he put up?
Yes.
He caused it to happen because Trump says that he has Trump derangement syndrome and he caused everyone around him to lose their minds. It is so sick. It is so sad. It is so pathetic. And once again, unprompted, Republicans came out in public rebuke of Trump. No more of the, I didn't read his tweet, I don't know what he said, it's more important what he does than what he says. All of a sudden, here are Republicans on their own phones saying, no way. And that, Rob, that is a breaking when run-of-the-mill elected members of the House of Representatives are starting to call out Trump to their own base means that they think their own base won't stick with him.
Yeah.
So this administration, and here's why this is not only good news. This is why there's some bad news in it. When Trump gets desperate, he's going to do desperate things. And this is when we need the guardrails more than ever. He's going to continue to find some way to ratchet up get the base back in because he's losing them across the board. Not just the manosphere, not just your average Republican saying, I don't think about politics anymore. It's just all too crazy. Everybody's corrupt, all that nonsense.
Yeah.
And the price of eggs continues to be stubbornly high.
Yeah. So a couple of things. Susie Wiles is the chief of staff to Donald Trump. And apparently there's a new Vanity Fair article. Haven't had a chance to read it yet. And by the way, we need to take a minute to read Andy's comment here that you just put up on the screen. We'll do that here in a minute. We'll circle back to weapons of mass destruction because he makes an excellent point. Susie Wiles, chief of staff. Chief of staff, if you remember, you're watching The West Wing. Leo McGarry, the second most powerful person in the country is not the vice president of the United States. Second most powerful person in the country is the chief of staff to the president, because they control who gets access, they control the agenda, they filter everything before it gets to the president. Susie Wiles is the chief of staff. Apparently allowed a Vanity Fair reporter really significant access to her and to her office. And there's a new Vanity Fair article out. Haven't had a chance to read it yet because I just saw it this morning. But here are some of the headlines on the Drudge Report, which is...
I mean, you combine...
I will go to my grave saying this. And my children, they yell at me. And other people yell at me. The Drudge Report is the single best aggregator of news on the internet, bar none. Period. You want to know what's happening? Read the Drudge Report every day.
Opinions expressed on the Vote Common Good podcast are of the person that's read it.
Did I just sink my congressional campaign?
No, I'm just kidding.
So, anyway, here are the headlines. Here are the headlines from the story. White House Chief of Staff sounds off. Okay. Score settling behind prosecutions. Oh, so the prosecutions are not legitimate? They're about settling scores? Huh. J.D. Vance, quote-unquote, conspiracy theorist. Bondi whiffed on Epstein files. Musk, drug user. Trump has, quote, alcoholic's personality. Yeah.
Well, just the other day, yesterday, I was driving and thinking, yeah, once again, Donald Trump's behavior is like that of what a lot of people will refer to in alcohol world as a dry drunk, meaning someone who stopped drinking but never dealt with the underlying issues that led to their drinking in the first place. So the anger and the bitterness and the hurt stays there. Clearly behaving that way. Just the constancy of anger and vitriol and his meanness now to reporters is so out there. You know, it's not only be quiet or, you know, the Miss Piggy comments or you're a terrible reporter and you could never pass the test. And like antagonizing reporters. Now, Rob, I think highly of reporters, honestly, across the whole spectrum. Commentators, I guess, is another thing. But reporters, look, it's really hard work. And do you know who's not a power broker in our society? Reporters. You're not punching up by going at the media and reporters. You've got a reporter doing a beat on Air Force One, trying to make their way in the world. They're trying to write stories, get the news out, communicate to their editors, trying to build a body of work. And inside, like, these people are insulting the people who work in your industry, when again, you might be in this industry, Donald Trump, for 4 or 8 years, or because of the re-election, 12 years. Some of these reporters are going to be in it for 30. It's their place. They're figuring out their way. You come rolling in, and then you're just vitriolic to people. All not about accuracy or integrity, but just, are you mean to me or are you nice to me? The only measurement the man has.
Yeah. So the fractures are there, and they are spreading. It is significant. We saw it in Indiana, as you mentioned. We're seeing it now inside his inner circle with this Vanity Fair article. These kinds of articles, like, they're blips on the radar for us out here in flyover country. They reverberate deeply within within the halls of power, as they say.
They're career defining. Yep.
And then the Robb Reiner stuff. And listen, I have consistently said, and Doug, you've heard me say this for years, that one of the roles of the president is to be the comforter in chief.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife Vanessa says that, we look at our dads, we look at the president, we look at God, and we get them all mixed up in our heads, and like we don't know what we want from which one, and they get all confused. And I think she's onto something with that. One of the roles of the president is, in times of tragedy, in times of national shock, is to speak calmly to the American people, to speak words of encouragement, words of comfort, words of help, to give voice to what people are feeling and to call them to something greater. I think about Ronald Reagan when the Challenger exploded. I think about Bill Clinton when the Oklahoma City bombings happened. Think about George W. Bush standing on the rubble of the World Trade Center. Over and over and over again, we have had presidents who have been able to, I think of President Obama singing Amazing Grace after the shooting that happened at the church in Georgia. Over and over and over, presidents doing and saying things that bring comfort to us as Americans. Donald Trump, I'm reminded of during COVID, he was asked the softballest question of all. Mr. President, what do you say to Americans who are scared right now? Oh, tee it up on a stick, baby. Here it is.
Yeah.
Let me be the comforter in chief.
Yeah.
Let me knock this one out of the park. And you know what his response was? His response was to point at the reporter and say, "You're a terrible reporter." And that's a terrible question.
Yeah.
In the wake of the just horrific murder of Robb Reiner, the president once again has the opportunity to lead by example. In the wake of the tragic shooting of Charlie Kirk, the president talked about how political violence is a problem. There was so much conversation about the rhetoric and the political violence and how we need to, somehow get beyond that. This was an opportunity for the president to lead by example and say, here's a guy that I disagreed with politically. There's a guy who disagreed with me politically. But wow, what an American treasure. I mean, you just think All in the Family, Stand By Me, When Harry Met Sally. I mean,
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap. You're right. That
Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride. I mean, the American
Few Good Men.
president. Few Good Men. I mean,
Yeah.
Jessica's dad on New Girl. You know, like, I mean, you go on and on and on. This
Yeah.
guy
Yeah.
was amazing. An American treasure.
Yep.
And what he did was vindictive, and he made it about him.
And small and petty. And once again, people are like, just be quiet. No one asked you to tell us the fact that you never liked the guy.
He is so bad at his job.
And
so bad at it.
And look, and people, he's just bad at being what we require of each other as people. And here's the thing, Rob. I know we've made this argument. You've made this argument for a long time. And then when it comes time for the American people to put their support behind someone, the majority of voters on Election Day a year ago said those things that we've long said mattered were not disqualifying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the point Doty just made in the comments. When he said, you're right, Rob, but he was awful before and the country still elected him.
Yeah, they were not disqualifying.
By example or do the decent thing ever. He's a monster. Those are Doty's words in the comments.
So we have to recognize that something in the political environment has changed. And it may or may not be unique to Donald Trump, right? It might be about where we are as a nation, that things that should be disqualifying have ceased to be. And maybe we will get back to it. Now, what Donald Trump has done is positioned himself as a wartime president. And the war is on wokeness and the war is on Democrats. It's an internal war in the United States. And there are a lot of people who don't want empathy in chief. They don't want sympathizer. They don't want caregiver. All they want is to destroy the other side. That temptation exists on our side of the political aisle. And the future is going to be something bigger than that partisan fight. And America is exhausted with that partisan fight. It is growing, and our next president is going to need to be someone who can call us to another way of living and being. It's going to be necessary, and it's going to be countercultural because the American people.
We need to collaborate with our friend Brian and write a book called A New Kind of American.
A new kind of populace. Yeah. And look, the populist argument that we have been
I don't know if anybody's watching on YouTube, but this is me just like having I'm an Enneagram 3. I have about 1 million ideas a day of things that could happen, and that's just me just like sitting back thinking, oh yeah, there's something to a book like that, and then circling back.
Sure. For sure.
Like, okay, I'm going to text Brian later.
Yeah. Yeah, and it needs to be look what
you could just run over to his house.
I'm right down the road. I was just with him on Sunday. We went to the Alligator Alcatraz facility that the state of Florida refers to the detention center in this terrible name, and did a faith leader vigil out there. In fact, if people haven't seen it yet, the live stream is available. And then on our YouTube channel are interviews with a person whose husband is inside. And she's been out there for all 48 days. Some of my comments, some of the setting of the scene and all that. It's quite interesting. If I wasn't on a mobile rig right here, we would show it to you. here, but you can just head over to the YouTube channel and look at the playlist for the detention center. Alligator Alcatraz, as they call it. And they brag about it. It's just such a terrible, terrible name, and the whole thing is just performative cruelty. And really,
yes, the cruelty is the point. And that, I mean, this circles right back with what we've seen with Donald Trump. The cruelty is the point. And I think you're right, Doug, that the next president, we're going to be at a fork in the road of like, are we going to continue down this line? And who's going to be the mantle bearer for this Trump brand of cruelty? Is it going to be Donald Trump Jr.? Is it going to be J.D. Vance? Is it going to be somebody like that? Are they going to go down that and continue to ratchet up the cruelty and use Donald Trump as a template? Or is it going to be, snapping back in some way in a president who calls us to something greater, something more empathetic, more caring? And that really, will determine, I think, the future of the country. Obviously, if which direction we go and what kind of country we're going to be.
Yeah,
the
and
stakes
look,
are high.
And
if you start looking at this, and the stakes are high.
Yeah. And one of the tragedies of the Biden term was that he as a person and that administration did not take this project as their project. Yeah. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Some of those are temperament. Some of those were strategic. I feel some of those were strategic mistakes. And there was a sense, and I certainly had this, and I know a lot of people in politics had this, that 2016 election of Donald Trump was an aberration.
It was an aberration. Mm-hmm.
2020 was a corrective. Now we're back on track. And so we get back to politics as usual. And we will work out the residual issues. We'll flush the system over time. That didn't work. The rebuilding that needed to happen of the American psyche needed to be engaged at a much higher level. And Joe Biden as a person and the chosen staff around him were not the people to do that work. They clearly didn't. I don't think this is even this isn't debatable.
Yeah. The attempts, you remember the big speech in Philadelphia that it was not bright and hopeful, and it was dark.
Yes.
And it was divisive. And almost in that sense of wanting to quarantine or isolate a group of people rather than calling all of us to be better versions of ourselves. Yeah. And this is a tough, this is a philosophical and even theological or spiritual sense, the sense of how are we going to do this? How are we going to go forward?
Yes.
Are we going to do it digging in our heels and being divided, or are we going to find new ways to connect? And this is, and I think you're right, Doug. There are people on our side of the aisle, people on our side of the political spectrum that don't want to. They don't want to at all.
Look, in life, there's a tendency to go in a lot of directions. If you take direction as a metaphor for how one thinks about life, some people want to go back. Some people want to go up. Some people want to go forward. Some people want to go down. There's a lot. Some people want to go sides. What Biden did was he tried to say, this is a classic quote from Biden and his speechwriters. This is not who we are. Trump would always talk about who we were. We need someone who's going to talk about who are we going to become. They need to get us out in the future. This is not going to be a time for what in the spiritual disciplines people want to call presence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just one day at a time, right here, right now. No, what the American people are going to want, the healing that needs to start right now, needs to be in light of all of this, in light of our beautiful past, in light of our tragic past, in light of our beautiful now and our tragic now. How are we going to be in the future? And there's going to be some tragedy, but we need to increase the beauty of who we are. Like, this is how the conversation needs to go. We don't need to go into some sort of let's get back to normal and who are we now. And that's where, look, even the campaign slogan, when it became the Harris campaign, we're not
going back. Yeah. So and
you know what we did? Literally went back. So,
Doug, we've both been working pastors, and I've my master's degree is in theology, and so I think about I often, that's kind of my go-to language or metaphor for understanding this and making sense of this stuff. So I think about, like, we see the same thing in theological approaches. There's some approaches to Christianity that are rooted in the past and kind of place God in the past. God decreed things before the foundations of the earth. God decreed, and there's like this approach of like everything is playing out in the present from the perspective of what happened in the past, because God did this, decreed this, and now it's working out. And then there's some that take a God is in the present, God is in the moment, God is here and now. And I like think about like open theism and Greg Boyd, and like that approach is very much God is rooted right now. There was a German theologian named Wolfhart Pannenberg who said that God is the power of the future, and he wanted to take an eschatological approach in the sense of like of placing of seeing God as not being in the past, not being in the present necessarily, but God being in the future, calling us into something better, calling us into something good, calling us from where we are and where we have been into what God's divine goodness is. And I when I think about what we need, and there's something very hopeful about that. There's something very, and I think, quite frankly, theology needs all three of these approaches.
Sure. Yeah.
This is not an either or kind of thing. This is a both and. But I think right now in our body politic, what we need is an approach that says, hey, who do we want to be? Who could we be?
Yeah.
In light of where we've been and where we are, where do we want to go?
Possibility. Yep.
Yeah. And that is, Donald Trump does not have the ability to do that. And it's a matter of, who on the national stage can have that kind of message that inspires Americans and lifts our eyes up to where we're going, rather than where we are, where we've been.
Viv in the comments says, have you all interviewed mental health experts who accurately warned this almost 11 years ago? She knows several of them, and they've been banned from major media and need to be heard. Look, and Viv, I appreciate that a lot, because Rob has described a theological setting for thinking about not just past, not just current, but future. The psychological world does this too. A lot of people in counseling and therapy will spend a lot of time thinking about how they are, what has happened. And some therapists want to bring people into a, how would you like it to go? Knowing how this is now, what would the future What would the future look like? And there's a way to describe from current setting a possible, preferable future. What would your dreams be? What would your hopes be? And that's what the American dream ought to be about. There has to be a sort of, just, I don't know, a day and a half, a week down the road, a few years, this thing about we can't get too far out, right?
Right.
Start talking in 5 years and 10 years and 50 years, it gets too far. But whatever the horizon, I think we talked about this in the podcast a few years ago, an event horizon that, because of the curvature of the earth, if you're standing on a beach as sort of an average, nearly, somewhere between 5'10" to 6 foot person, you're looking out over an ocean, which is generally flat, you will know that the earth is not flat, that it has a curve to it, because you can see ships coming and their mast will pop above the horizon as it gets closer and gets higher as it gets closer. So it's climbing up a curvature. It's one of the ways that people, long before Columbus sailed the ocean blue, knew that the earth was not flat. It long held this. We know that horizon is somewhere around 13 nautical miles. So if you look out, when you stop seeing the ocean, where you see that line of a horizon,
longer than a land mile?
Somehow, and I don't know how. Hey, yeah, you know what else I realized I didn't know the other day?
You just use the phrase nautical mile like you know what it means.
No, I just use the phrase.
Know what it means.
No, I don't know what it means, but I know that it is. Look, and this is Let me tell you this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The other day, I was talking with a mutual friend of ours over breakfast, and the day before, I had eaten a poached egg at a restaurant. I had it on a hash. They said, "Hey, the hash comes with the poached egg. Would you like the poached egg?" I said, "Absolutely, I want the poached egg." So the next day, we're talking about something, and this friend Brandon was saying to the filmmakers of the We the People Ride documentary over dinner, he said, "Well, how I make a poached egg," and then he talked about he puts vinegar in the water and then cracks the egg. And he said, the trick is, and he tells us the little trick, you got to get the water out of the eggshell before you put it in the water. And the three adults sitting there at the table all admitted, we have no idea how you make a poached egg. No idea. Did you know that you put a poached egg, a raw egg, into boiling water, sometimes with some vinegar in it to really make it better, and you're cooking it inside the water, outside of the shell? I had no idea.
Yeah. I actually
did you know that?
My mom. Yeah, I did, because my mom used to eat poached eggs, and would put them in a little ramekin. Love the word ramekin, by the way. Okay. It's a great word. Do you love the word ramekin, Doug?
I don't know yet. I don't know what it is.
You don't know what a ramekin? Little
I don't know what a ramekin is.
Little bowl. Little bowl, little container. Okay. And you put some water in there, and you put the egg in there, and you put it in the microwave and poach egg.
Yeah, so you poach in an egg inside of a microwave. I know what a poached egg is. I ate one the day before. Didn't know how it came together. Don't know how you make one. It was somehow a mystery. And two of the people there, and then I brought it up with a third person who thought the same thing. He goes, "Oh, I was actually thinking like soft boiled. That's what I was thinking." They take it out of the shell and then put it in the water. Okay, there's not a person listening to this that doesn't know that a poached egg exists. How you get one? That I don't know. We could be down to a third or 2/3 of the people don't have any idea how you make a poached egg. That's how I am about nautical miles. All that to say, there's an event horizon, and on the event horizon, you can talk about that. How far out can we see? This is what the American imagination has always wanted. It's what's written into our documents. It is a
more perfect union.
It's a futurical.
It just calls you forward.
It's not historical. It's futurical. It calls you into a future that you want. And this is what the Democratic Party needs. This is what, dare I say it, the Republican Party needs, because this is what the American electorate needs. And, as my Catholic friends say, pray God that when the debates start in the next year and a half about the future of the presidency of the United States, both political parties will have representatives calling us into that world. I'm not talking about full-on, new agey, dawning of the age of Aquarius, what kind of world could exist, but just literal practical progressivism or conservatism that calls us to a future expression of what can our dreams imagine? Because what Donald Trump represents is desired by so many people when that other option is not available. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take some people with straight talk that feels normal, but says something extraordinary. And this is what the battle for the political imagination. And look, politics is not going to solve everything. It's not designed to. But it also shouldn't be the problem. Yeah. And in this administration and this MAGA movement, the politicalization of everything is the problem. And I'm telling you, people are finding that now. I think this Rob Reiner thing, and honestly, I think the Epstein thing and all of that to a whole bunch of Trump supporting people was like, hold on a minute. We thought your political movement of MAGA was supposed to get us out of the over-politicization of everything. And instead, Trump is becoming the most creature of, because he has always been the most creature of the politicalization of everything. Literally everything. Like things that we used to say, it wasn't political. He just turns it into, because he's the object of his politics, he turns it into him, which turns it into something political. I'll give you a little story, Rob, from yesterday. I like little anecdotes. I think anecdotes tell us a lot. I think studies, I think polling. I'm in South Florida, where a Good Force One spends its winter in its casual clothes before it puts on its hero outfit and travels the country to save democracy. It's our big bus. It's parked at this RV park. And so poolside on Mondays, it's Margarita Mondays, playing off of Taco Tuesdays. So Margarita Mondays, so you get together over at the pool, and it was a small gathering, 20 people or so, and it's bring your own. We're all standing around by the poolside, and I'm new in this little community. I've been here for a couple of days and meeting these people, and
to bring your own margaritas.
Yeah. They just call it that to be cutesy. And it's just a little get together. There's every day a different part of this community hosts a get together, and this one's Margarita Monday. So you bring your own thing. They have a little sign. This is Tiki Bar and a little hut umbrella. It's just cute. So we start to. So I meet a guy named Mark, and he says, "So where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from Minneapolis," which is what I say here rather than from Minnesota, for very particular calling people out reasons. And he's like, oh yeah, Minneapolis. I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for that. Who's that liar you got going there? Who's that liar? And I said, Donald Trump. Are you thinking of our president, Donald Trump? And a couple of people kind of smile around. Then he goes, no, that Walls guy. And then that woman, that Somali woman. I said, yeah, she used to be my representative. He's like, oh, I really feel. And the other people around him were like, okay, Mark, okay, all right. Not going down that route.
Yeah.
This is what I refer to as the quiet quitting.
Yeah.
Other conversations, they all agreed, but they're like, come on, man. Like, that's just not.
Margarita Monday.
It's Margarita Monday. We're out here. Like, don't do that to everything. You just met a guy. He's new around here. Why do you start to do that?
Yeah.
That is what's going to get us to talk about a more than partisan America. Democrats need to do it. Libertarians need to do it. Green Party, progressives, social democrats, socialist democrats, everybody needs to find a way to speak from your location toward a future. toward an event horizon. That's going to go so far for us as a nation. And if we can't do that, if we don't do that, we're just going to continue to spiral into circle. And look, Obama's first coming on the scene, it was the not red America, not blue America, United States of America. He embodied and represented. In a lot of ways in 2016, Donald Trump came on with the Forgottens and all of that, and we're going to do this big America. It's going to, look, to my chagrin, sadness, he expanded the electorate into his political movement because there was a bunch of people who felt left out, and they felt included by him. We need to have that kind of a movement that opens everything up rather than narrowly targeting over and over and over. And our particular work, to make a pitch so you all understand what we do at Vote Common Good, is to try to make the religious communities more accessible to both political parties so that in the public imagination, Christian religion is not owned by one political party, because that is really devastating and damaging to the United States of America. So that's why at the core, I think our work is part of the opening up an inclusive narrative where the things that used to divide people, the factors that divided them into political parties, start to become blurred. Anytime we can do that, we are opening up America to something better, in my view.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Now, did Obama continue to keep the coalition expanding and building? No. Because I'll tell you one thing that happens when you become president versus running for president, you start having a whole other project to do. And the just an inside politics critique, the fact that any current president becomes the head of that political party as a political movement is really damaging to the ability of the party to continue to expand, because the attention of that character is to do the actual work. And so you're not spending time on the future casting. It's very hard from that position to do that work. You can be a supplement to it, but the political system, both on the Republican and the Democratic side, they don't have people who are doing that work while the person is in office, because all the attention is just sucked away into that. Where the one time it won't happen is when there is a primary. Yeah. And the primaries are going to happen on both sides of the political aisle. Hey, I think Chris Coons is going to run for president, by the way. I just saw a big, long, full-piece editorial from him on a Democracy Now! Website. And it was like, here's what it takes for our party to win. And now, whether or not, people run for president for a lot of reasons, like people run for Congress for a lot of reasons. And it sure seems like he's lining up to put his voice in the milieu so that whatever comes out of it.
Who's our last bald president?
Truman? Who's the guy on the dime? I mean, as a kid, when I would look at a dime, I'm like, who's that guy? I don't know. Who is that guy?
Yeah, I haven't looked at a dime in a while. Hey, listen, it feels like we're winding up. I just want to circle back to something that Andy Weiner said earlier. He said, hi, y'all. As a recovering alcoholic, been homeless and all that goes along with it, treating the addicts is far more effective to cut down on supply and demand problem. Cut down on the demand, treat addiction, and the supply goes down. It's like this. You don't bomb Anheuser-Busch for all the DUIs that kill people, right? Treatment facilities that include vocational training, self-care, nutritional things of that nature to get yourself back into society. Safe travels, y'all, down in South Florida myself. Really great point. And I love
to meet you.
Yeah, I love the analogy, like when he says you don't bomb Anheuser-Busch for all the DUIs. He's exactly right. Yeah. And that's what, it feels like that's what Donald Trump is, up to doing.
Yeah. And look, I think Donald Trump is trying to attack Venezuela. Also, someone got to Trump early in this term and talked about some billionaire friend of his and talked about his own family's being impacted by fentanyl. And that's got him on this rampage. And there is, dare I say, not just he wants oil for the United States or he wants oil for his big oil buddies. Donald Trump has a financial interest in everything he pushes. He is so corrupt. He is so embedded with his cryptos and with his funders and with his investors and with all of his debts. There is no doubt in my mind that he has some people in his life who are going to benefit him financially, and he's using the federal government to do their bidding. Now, their bidding might be get after fentanyl and stop it and all the rest of this, but I just think there is nothing Donald Trump will be up to that we can't trace back to somehow him believing it personally benefits him. That's why he doesn't care about so many things that people thought he cared about. It's just it's not even corruption. It's just a worldview of this administration. What is the vested interest of the principal? And in this case, Donald Trump doesn't see himself fundamentally as serving a role as president. He sees the role serving Donald Trump.
Yes. Yes.
Ready to go?
Is it Taco Tuesday? You gonna have tacos around? You gotta take your own taco around the pool today?
I don't know. I didn't see a sign for Taco Tuesdays, but
what
this evening it's open mic Tuesday.
Oh, there you go. Where are you headed?
At a little biker bar. Oh yeah. There's a little bar here called the Boardroom, and yeah. If anybody's near Marco Island, you want to come down tonight at 6. It starts 6 to 9.
Plans today? Are you gonna sit by the Gulf of America today?
No, I'm not. I don't even think I'll see the Gulf of America on this whole trip down here. I have a bunch of work to do today. So it's not vacation. When Good Force One is housing the Vote Common Good Southern Office of Resistance, it's not always vacation. We got a lot of work to do. So
yeah, we do.
All
right, I gotta go buy
a printer,
an Epson Eco Tank.
Is the campaign going to buy that, or is that going to be a personal purchase for the? You going to buy one of each?
The Etsy business is buying that.
Okay, all right.
Because 90% of the printing is labels.
Yeah, totally, totally. All right, hey, good luck. All right, thanks y'all. Thanks for being part of the Common Good podcast. See ya.
Bye.